How are we already halfway through August? I really don't want to say summer is ending because I'm not the person who will rush into fall, but summer is approaching the end, unfortunately. So in order to really embrace the summer vibes before they are gone, I am going to be reading summery books for a week. Okay, here we are at the bottom of my bookshelf because this is where I keep the books that I haven't read yet, my little TBR shelves. This one is my fantasy TBR shelf, and this one that you can't see super well has some romance fiction, mystery, basically every genre that isn't fantasy. So as you know, we are looking for summery books. The three that I've pulled out so far are Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. I feel like I have to read this in this video because I've heard so many great things about it and it just really fits the vibes. Also, The Guest by Emma Cline. If I'm remembering correctly, this takes place at the end of summer, so it might be good for this video. We also have The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. I have loved everything that I've read by Christina Lauren. I mean, I've only read Love and Other Words and a little novella by them, but I loved both of those, so I think I really like their writing. I also have Hotel Nantucket downloaded on my Kindle, which I probably will be reading in this video as well because I'm in the mood to read on my Kindle. And some other potential options could be Heartless by Elsie Silver. I don't know if this takes place in the summer, but I feel like cowboy romances give off summer vibes. Oh, you guys. Kate Eaton is 13 years older than Willa Grant, and he barely looks her way even though she's living at his house for the summer. Okay, this might have just gone to the top of the list too. I feel like those are the only books on my TBR with summery vibes. Maybe some of these fantasies have summery vibes, but to be honest, I'm not really in the fantasy mood. So these books right here, plus Hotel Nantucket, which is on my Kindle, are gonna be the options that we're working with this week. Okay, I feel like there's already been so many angle switches in the beginning of this video, but I'm gonna go read by my pool because what would a summery reading vlog be if I didn't go read by the pool? And the book that I'll be bringing down to the pool / the first book that I'll be reading in this vlog is The Hotel Nantucket by Ellen Hildebrand. I have it downloaded on my Kindle. I feel like it's easier to read books on your Kindle when you're in the sun than reading an actual physical book, so that's why I decided to start with this one. I also feel like Ellen's books are literally the epitome of summer, so I have to read one in this vlog. But yeah, let's go to the pool. Need to update my reading vlog. Okay, I have now reached the 50% mark in The Hotel Nantucket by Ellen Hildebrand. The past 2 days, my vibe has been reading by the pool, then coming back to my apartment and reading this book while watching The Summer I Turned Pretty. Because obviously the Hotel Nantucket takes place on Nantucket and The Summer I Turned Pretty is East Coast summer vibes, and it's perfect. Right now we have Love Island. Oh, you can't tell, it's an ad. But we're watching Love Island right now, not The Summer I Turned Pretty. In the Hotel Nantucket, you kind of have like it's not even really like a narrator, it's just told from the point of view that you know what's going on inside of everybody's heads. I forget what that's called. There is a large cast of characters, and we're getting bits and pieces into everybody's lives and how they're all interconnected. I love how Ellen Hildebrand does that in her books. Every little bit and piece of drama like comes together at the very end. Basically, the Hotel Nantucket used to be a very rundown hotel, but then this very rich man, Xavier, I think his name is, bought the hotel and is turning it into this very elaborate luxury hotel with the goal of getting 5 keys from this hotel reviewer, Sharon Carpenter. I keep wanting to call her Sabrina Carpenter in my head. But basically, Sharon Carpenter is this hotel reviewer who has never given 5 keys. She rates hotels on this key system and no hotel has gotten all 5. So it's this owner's goal to get those 5 keys. He has tasked Lisbeth with managing the hotel, hiring a whole staff of people and making sure it runs and is basically just like the most perfect hotel ever so they can get those 5 keys. But we're getting to hear about the stories of everybody who's working at the hotel, guests that come and visit the hotel, and like some other people that are living on the island. There's lots of drama going on. Most people have a secret / are not really what they seem. One of the more fun parts about the story to me is the fact that the hotel has a ghost. Her name is Grace and she was killed in the hotel, and she's a friendly ghost, but she does haunt the hotel a little bit, so I think that's just a fun little aspect. I'm enjoying the parts of the book that are in Grace's point of view. Honestly, I think maybe my issue is I'm not really enjoying Lisbeth's storyline. I'm more interested in all the other people who are working at the hotel. 50% through. Would love to just read the rest of the book today, so I'll update you if I do that. Cheers. I just spilled on myself. I did not finish The Hotel Nantucket yesterday. Unfortunately, I find myself getting bored every time I read it, so I've been reading it in very small increments. But I started another book today that I'm really into. I started The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. I needed to clean my entire apartment, so I used my Audible credit to get it on Audible. So I listened to it while I cleaned, and I made it to like halfway through chapter 10. And I have been listening on 2 times speed. What speed do you guys listen to your audiobooks on? Because if it's any slower than 2 times speed, it sounds so slow to me. Anyways, what sold me on this book when I got it a while ago was if Succession was a rom-com. Because I loved Succession and I love rom-coms. So yeah, with that little blurb, you can assume it is a billionaire trope. This girl, Anna Green, married this guy West in college so that she could get free housing, because I think he was a professor. You find out that he married her because in order to get his inheritance from his grandpa, he had to be married. He comes back into her life because in order to get the inheritance, he has to be married for 5 years, and they haven't been like quote unquote married for 5 years yet. So he comes back into Anna's life and is like, hey, in order to get my inheritance, I need you to pretend to still be married to me and come to my sister's wedding and meet all my family and pretend that we're married. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the way it's written. It's giving like goofy Ali Hazelwood vibes. Sorry if you could hear my washing machine in the background. It's just fun and entertaining, and I am enjoying it so far. So now we have 2 books going. Do you guys notice anything different about me? I'll give you a hint, it's my hair. Got a haircut and dyed it darker since the last clip, so that's fun. I need to update you on my books. Also, please ignore all the clothes that are out behind me. I'm packing for Oregon. I'm flying there tomorrow, so that's why there's a bit of a mess. As you guys know, I listened to the audiobook of The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren, and I really ended up liking this book a lot. I think I'm gonna settle on a 4-star for this book because I overall just loved the vibes. Like every time I picked it up, I found myself not wanting to leave this world. Loved the male main character, Liam. Anna is, the main female character, Anna, is kind of one of those like quirky, goofy girls. I think I said earlier. Reminds me of like a protagonist that would be in an Ali Hazelwood book. But she didn't annoy me too badly, so that's fine. I feel like she had really good morals and values and stuck to them, so that made her a very likable character. One thing about this book though is, I think it was like halfway through, I completely guessed what the 3rd act conflict was gonna be. And typically I'm honestly not very good at guessing what happens in books, but I guessed what was gonna happen in this book and what was gonna happen in The Hotel Nantucket. So I think that kind of made my reading experience of both of these books just a little bit less enjoyable because I kind of like being surprised. If you're looking for a summery romance to read, I definitely recommend this one. Easy summery romance read. And then, as you guys also know, I read The Hotel Nantucket on my Kindle. I finished it yesterday. And I know I've said the word vibes like 5 times already in this clip, but Ellen Hildebrand novels are the definition of vibes. I hate that I said that. Her writing is so detailed to the point that I feel like I've been to Nantucket even though I've literally never had an East Coast summer in my entire life. Nantucket feels like a second home because of the way she describes it so in depth. Her descriptions of food are also so in depth and make me so hungry. I was so hungry every time I read this because the things that the hotel chef would create sounded so good. So yeah, if you're looking for a very atmospheric summer book and you wanna pretend that you're on the East Coast for the summer, obviously always recommend picking up an Ellen Hildebrand book. I think for this one though, I don't know what it was. I think I said a couple of times I found myself getting a little bit bored reading it. And because of that, I think it's gonna be like a 3.75 for me. I don't know if I just wasn't completely in the mood for a book like this or what it was. It just like didn't hit exactly how I wanted it to hit. And there's a bunch of characters in this book and there's kind of a mystery to each of them. And I guessed several of the mysteries. Once again, that kind of made my reading experience slightly less enjoyable. But once again, it's definitely a book that I recommend. Okay, and the 3rd book that I will be reading for this summer reading vlog is Summer Romance. I feel like I could not pick a more fitting book for this reading vlog. I mean, it's in the title. I've also just heard so many good reviews about this book so far, so I'm so excited to see what I think of it. I am gonna go read down at the pool again because it's another beautiful day and it's a summer reading vlog, so I have to. So I downloaded the sample of this book on my Kindle. I really wish this was on Kindle Unlimited, but alas, it is not. I'm just in such a Kindle mood right now. I don't feel like reading a physical book. I read just like the sample on my Kindle, and then once I finish that, I'll be reading the physical book. Yay! besties, I am now back from my trip to Oregon and ready to talk about these 3 books. Specifically summer romance, since I didn't really get to talk to you guys much about this one yet. I read it while I was in Oregon, obviously, and when I finished it, I kind of thought, oh my god, is this a 5-star read? But now it's about a week later, and I feel like I'm forgetting bits of the plot, so because of that, I feel like I can't give it a 5-star. Like, I'm not sure it still has that 5-star feeling for me, so I'm leaning more towards giving it a 4.5. That is still obviously a really good rating. I still loved this book, and I love Annabelle Monaghan's writing. I feel like it was super bingeable, really easy to breeze through. I feel like this was the perfect length for a romance too. It's 316 pages. I feel like that's the perfect number of pages for a little romance book. Anyways, it's about Allie, who is in her 30s. She's a mom of 3. She is going through a divorce. Her mother passed away last year. And through all of these events, she's kind of lost who she is as a person. She meets this guy, Ethan, who kind of helps just like bring the light back into Allie's life and helps Allie like remember who she is and what she's worth. Yeah, it was a really beautiful story about grieving loved ones who have passed away, relationships that have changed, versions of you that you're not anymore, but also like an amazing story of stepping back into your confidence. And the mailman character, Ethan, was just such a sweetheart who was also kind of a complicated character himself. He's dealing with everyone from his small town that still views him as kind of like this reckless teenager, and who he is now, this guy who's like grown up, become a lawyer, and is a key member of his community. Anyways, if you're gonna read any of the books I talk about today, definitely read this one. It is just a little summer romance, but it's also so much deeper than that, and I loved it. And as you guys saw, I rated Paradise Problem a 4 and The Hotel Nantucket 3.75. I think I'm gonna stick with those ratings after like a week or so. They still ring true. But yeah, these 3 are gonna be all of the books that I read for today's video. It is now the end of August. When I started this video, it was like the middle of August, and summer is like really coming to a close now. Starbucks has fall drinks, and everyone knows that that indicates the start of fall. Just kidding. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I hope you had an amazing summer. And I hope you read this book. Bye guys!